This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 15th day of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. A group of soldiers from the Guyana Defense Force came on the Gunfire on Tuesday and Wednesday while conducting patrols in the Cuyuni River near the border with Venezuela. In a statement early this morning, the Guyana Defense Force said there were 3 separate attacks within the past 24 hours, but there were no injuries to the Guyanese soldiers. The attacks on the GDF patrols were reportedly carried out by armed men dressed in civilian clothing on the Venezuelan side of the border. The GDF said on each of the 3 occasions that its ranks came on the Gunfire between Bang and Macapa, they executed a measured response. The Defense Force said it remains resolute in its mission to protect Guyana's territorial integrity and ensure the safety of its citizens, explaining that it will continue to respond to acts of aggression along the Guyana-Venezuela border and will maintain regular patrols along the Cuyuni River. GDF Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier Omar Khan.
By our Act, the Defense Act, Chapter 1501, we have an obligation as soldiers, members of the Guyana Defense Force, to protect our territorial integrity and our people. This is a mission we take seriously, and we will continue to patrol that same area and to eliminate any threat to our people and any incursion to our territory. Just this afternoon, a patrol was conducted again, but no incident-free, and we will continue to do so.
The Guyana Defense Force said the public is assured that it is taking all necessary measures to safeguard the nation's borders and maintain peace and security within Guyana.
As you would have seen the locations along the border, our locations, there are gaps. Our conduct in those gaps is to patrol by foot and boat, ensuring that we define our borders and ensure that no one is illegally coming across, especially on the border with Venezuela. Moving forward, the Guyana Defense Force will remain vigilant and will continue to patrol the Cuyuni River.
Tensions have been rising in parts of the Essequibo region close to the border with Venezuela, as the neighboring country, which continues to claim Guyana's Essequibo as its own, moves ahead with plans to conduct elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo on the eve of Guyana's independence anniversary. Guyana has condemned those moves by Caracas and has informed the international community of the ongoing acts of aggression. The International Court of Justice, which is currently hearing the border controversy case that was filed by Guyana, recently ordered Venezuela not to proceed with its planned elections. Venezuela has accused the court of attempting to interfere in its internal issues. 3 months ago, a number of GDF soldiers were injured in the same bordering region in the Cuyuni River when they came under heavy gunfire from gunmen on the Venezuelan side of the border. It was suspected then that the gunmen may have been linked to a Venezuelan criminal gang. Reports out of Caracas stated that some of those gunmen died from injuries sustained during their attack, while others were reportedly arrested. Those reports were never confirmed by the GDF, which stated then that it was monitoring the situation closely. The U.S. has warned Venezuela against any attacks in Guyana or the oil ships operating in Guyana's waters. On the 1st of March this year, a Venezuelan military vessel made an incursion into Guyana's waters and carried out patrols near the oil ships in Guyana's waters, with its crew demanding information from the crew of the oil ships. The incursion was widely condemned internationally. More news coming up in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Well, the Guyana government today registered its protest with Venezuela over the latest attack on Guyanese soldiers by persons dressed as civilians on the Venezuelan side of the border in the Cuyuni River. The soldiers were conducting routine patrols between Bang and Macapa when they came under gunfire. In a statement today, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it has communicated Guyana's condemnation on the latest attack to Venezuela. The ministry said it has registered its condemnation of the attacks and requested that a thorough investigation be carried out by the government of Venezuela and that the perpetrators be apprehended and brought to justice. The Foreign Affairs Ministry also recalled a similar incident which took place earlier this year, after Guyana had requested Venezuela to take action to prevent further attacks on Guyana Defense Force soldiers from Venezuelan territory and apprehend and persecute the perpetrators. The ministry said it also intends to bring the latest attacks to the attention of the international community. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said it will continue to monitor the situation with other responsible government ministries and take appropriate action where necessary. While maintaining its support of the Guyana Defense Force, the case before the International Court of Justice, and the position that a border dispute between Guyana and Venezuela has long been settled, the opposition People's National Congress Reform today assailed the government over what it considers to be its poor handling of the increasing acts of aggression from Venezuela. Opposition and PNC Reform leader Aubrey Norton today said the opposition is deeply concerned that the government has no plan to ensure Venezuela is kept at bay. He said it is ridiculous that while the Venezuelans are seeking to hold an election purporting to have governors in the Essequibo, the Guyana government is inviting the nation to a concert. Mr. Norton said the opposition has provided a number of proposals to the government in previous debates in the National Assembly and in meetings with the president, and none of those proposals have been honored. He said the National Assembly previously passed a motion with clear things that should have been done in relation to the border issue, and the government has failed to do them. He said the opposition cannot support a government that is inactive on the Guyana-Venezuela territorial controversy and seems to only come alive when Venezuela acts up. Mr. Norton said it is unacceptable, and as the opposition, they have continuously given their support to the government, but the government refuses to engage the opposition. Norton recalled that in his meeting with the president, the issue of the handing over of the Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs to the opposition was raised, but that was never done. He said while the government continues to fail to see many of those things through, it is now leaning on the same opposition for support. The opposition leader said there has been no serious meeting to even discuss a plan. He said unless the government is preparing to engage the opposition in a meaningful way, it cannot continue to cooperate with the government. Norton said the opposition will maintain its support of the people of Guyana in the border controversy with Venezuela, but any future cooperation or assistance to the government on the issue will come only after the government engages and recognizes the role of the opposition in the country. Let's tell you now that during a recent meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis, CARICOM's Council for Foreign and Community Relations urged Venezuela to comply with that order of the International Court, which recently reaffirmed its previous order that instructed Venezuela to refrain from taking any action that would modify the status quo in the Essequibo, where Guyana currently administers and exercises control. Earlier this month, in an updated order, the International Court also ordered Venezuela to refrain from conducting elections or preparing to conduct elections in the Essequibo. Venezuela has dismissed the court's orders and has accused it of interfering in its internal affairs. Venezuela has announced plans to host elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo, which it continues to claim as its own. The CARICOM foreign minister said they received an update on the most recent developments in the controversy and to reiterate their full support for the ongoing judicial process as the proper means of resolving the controversy between Guyana and Venezuela peacefully. And finally, in accordance with international law, they also reaffirmed CARICOM's firm and unwavering support for the maintenance and preservation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Guyana. Tensions have been building up on the Western Front as Venezuela continues to announce its plans to host the elections. While there are no preparations for any elections taking place in the Essequibo, and community leaders have disputed Venezuela's claims of preparations taking place, the issue is still being closely monitored by the governments of Guyana and the international community. Well, new filings by the Guyana Revenue Authority in the luxury vehicle tax case against the Mohammed family has seen information being provided on the actual purchase cost of the luxury Lamborghini vehicle that was imported by Azruddin Mohammed. In the court documents, the GRA has provided an invoice for the vehicle, which it was able to obtain from the U.S. Justice Department through information that was provided to Guyana's Ministry of Home Affairs. According to the invoice that was billed to Azraddin Mohammed for the luxury sports car, the cost was $695,000. The invoice also carried a paid stamp, indicating the full amount was paid for the vehicle. The GRA contends that when the vehicle was imported, the cost paid was declared as $75,300, and that declaration resulted in a lower tax assessment. The Revenue Authority has also submitted records to the court which show that $622,000 was transferred from local bank GBTI to the company in the US that invoiced Mr. Mohammed for the sale of the car. The payment transfers, according to the documents, were done in 3 tranches, according to those court documents. The GRA is contending that because of the lower rate declared in the purchase of the car, more than $370 million in taxes were avoided. The Revenue Authority now wants that outstanding amount, along with the outstanding amounts it says are also owed on a number of other luxury vehicles imported by the Mohammeds, including some under the Remigrant Program. The Mohammeds have challenged the move by the Revenue Authority to seize the vehicles over the disputed amount. So far, the High Court and the Full Court have blocked the seizure of the vehicles until the completion of the substantive case before the court. Most of the vehicles at the center of the case were all imported about 4 years ago. The Mohammeds believe the move by the GRA is politically motivated.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 and 13 to 16 hours 30. Friday, 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give in warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi, Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
High Court Judge Gino Posson this afternoon threw out an application by the Guyana Revenue Authority for its latest affidavits in defense, which includes proof of purchase costs for a luxury vehicle imported by Azruddin Mohammed to be deemed properly filed. In the court document filed last evening by the GRA, the tax authority said based on an invoice which was billed to Azruddin Mohammed, the cost for the luxury sports car was $695,000 and not $75,300 as declared by the multimillionaire. But Justice Posson ruled against such a submission, noting that his justification will be provided in writing. However, the High Court judge granted an application for the tax authority's written submission to be deemed properly filed, but with the caveat that any reference to the further affidavit in defense be struck out and expunged from the record. The judge said the court will only consider the remaining portion of the written submission. Meanwhile, the attorney for Azruddin Mohammed, Sian Dijourne, told the court that the facts in the case are clear, that more than 3 years ago a Lamborghini vehicle and 2 Land Cruisers were imported by his client, and the vehicles are his properties. He said when the vehicles were imported, the Revenue Authority conducted extensive queries into the costs of the vehicles, and in the case of the Lamborghini, an agent of the supplier was flown into the country to stand scrutiny as it related to the costs. Dijourne said much to the surprise of his client, he received letters from the Deputy Commissioner of the Guyana Revenue Authority indicating that he had more than $400 million in outstanding taxes owed. It was explained that an investigation revealed that the declared costs of the luxury vehicles brought in by Mohammeds were inconsistent with the values for similar vehicles with the same specifications. Mohammed was given 14 days to pay the additional taxes or have the vehicle seized. His attorney told the court that the assessment conducted by the Revenue Authority must be set aside and the GRA must be blocked from seizing the vehicles. He said the estimated costs of the vehicles are irrelevant, stressing that what is important is the causal costs of the vehicles bought by the Mohammed. He argued that the tax authority assessed more than $400 million in taxes by raising the values of the vehicles brought in by the Mohammeds higher than those valued, he declared. He said in 2 submissions made to the court by the GRA, the costs included were vastly different. Added to that, he said the GRA did not give his client an opportunity to defend the taxes paid, telling him to pay up or have his vehicle seized. But the attorney for the GRA, Sanjeev Dattadin, told the court that the Commissioner General has the power to take appropriate steps to conduct assessments of taxes paid. He said Mr. Mohammed had the opportunity to make a case for himself before the GRA and submit appropriate documentation, but he did not. The attorney said it is clear that Mohammed was given an opportunity to respond, adding that the new or additional taxes were not imposed on him. The High Court judge, upon hearing the argument, set Friday the 12th of September at 1:30 p.m. for his ruling. The Guyana Revenue Authority today filed a criminal case against sanctioned businessman Azruddin Mohammed, accusing him of making a false declaration in relation to the undervaluing of a luxury Lamborghini vehicle. The GRA said it has been provided with documents which point to Mr. Mohammed paying more than $600,000 for the vehicle in 2020. But later declaring that he paid just $76,000. The GRA contends that an under-declaration was made with the aim of defrauding the state hundreds of millions in taxes. At a press conference this afternoon, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo said the criminal case was filed based on the evidence that the government was able to secure from the U.S. Justice Department.
Now we have evidence the Commissioner today Stacia filed a criminal case because its false declaration is a crime according to our laws. They've charged many people with false declarations before. He's put in his document, the court record, that he paid $75,000 for the vehicle. The GRA, through the designated contact point, which is the Ministry of Home Affairs, sent off a letter to the Treasury through the OFAC, the Mutual Assistance Treaty that we have, and they've received the evidence from the Treasury Department in the US. The invoice is for $695,000.
Mr. Jagdeo told reporters that the GRA has gone after people for far less, and there should be no special treatment in this case. He said all eyes will be on the court to see how it will address the latest submissions and the case.
The GRA has gone after people for taxes, $500,000 of taxes. They've gone after them. They've seized people vehicle, public servants, other people, poor people. Routinely they do this. 300 vehicles they've seized because of transgression. Here, it seems as though a different rule applies.
Jagdeo said the day of reckoning is also coming for persons in the GRA and the police force who have been sharing information with the Mohammeds. He said he will continue to look at the matter with keen interest.
I'm glad that this is actually coming out, because if it was a poor man, they'd probably already take his vehicle. He couldn't mobilize some people to block the GRA there, pay them some money to go there in your yard.
The vice president also said the government will continue to keep its distance from the Mohammeds because it will not put the country's financial system at risk. The Georgetown Public Hospital has called in the police after a woman appeared in another section of the media and falsely claimed that she lost twins at the hospital and the dead babies were disposed of without her knowledge. In a statement this afternoon, the Georgetown Hospital said after the story aired on a nightly newscast with the woman detailing her experience, an immediate investigation was launched. That investigation found that the woman was not a patient at the hospital, did not lose twins at the hospital, and was not recently pregnant. The woman's name has been given as Naripa Makanlal. The hospital said she initially claimed in the TV interview that she was admitted to the Georgetown Hospital and lost the twins earlier this month. However, when the hospital checked its medical records and even surveillance video recordings for the dates she provided, it found that she was never a patient at the hospital and was not even present at the hospital on those dates. Further, the hospital stated that when it met with the woman, she provided its officials with ultrasound images, which turned out to be images downloaded from the internet. With the consent of the woman and her family, the Georgetown Hospital said its doctors also conducted a medical examination of the woman and found no clinical signs of a recent pregnancy, delivery, or surgical intervention as she had stated. The hospital said based on all of its findings, it has decided to call in the police to investigate the matter.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for this, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, the cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda is considering extending teaching time to compensate students who lost 6 days of instruction during the recent teachers' strike, which ended Monday when teachers returned to the classrooms after receiving their overdue allowance payments. Officials believe that students who were denied nearly a week of education ought to be compensated by additional teaching time before the end of the term, according to a report of Wednesday's cabinet meeting. The industrial action, which began on the 2nd of May, resulted in widespread school closures across Antigua, despite the cabinet's assertion that the dispute only directly involved teachers at secondary and higher education levels who were owed specific allowances. Primary school teachers also participated in the strike, which officials described as disproportionate to the number of teachers owed and the amounts due. Cabinet members expressed concern that primary school students were unnecessarily deprived of classroom time when their teachers sat idly during the strike. Officials stated that the nobility of the teaching profession was completely lost when students remained without teaching contact for 6 days unnecessarily. In Peru, the Prime Minister of Peru, Gustavo Adrian Zan, has resigned hours before he was due to face a no-confidence vote in his Congress. Members of Peru's Congress had called for the no-confidence vote after the recent kidnap and killing of 13 mine workers, which shocked the country. The Prime Minister's resignation is another blow to the embattled President, Dina Boluarte, who has seen her approval ratings plummet as crime rates in the country have soared. The resignation of the Prime Minister, the third to serve under the President, forces the President to replace her entire cabinet, adding to Peru's political upheaval. Under Peru's constitution, all ministers have to step down if the Prime Minister quits. While the President can rename the same people to the post they resigned from, she can only do so once a Prime Minister is in place. The collapse of the cabinet comes at an already rocky time in Peruvian politics. Shortly before the Prime Minister announced his resignation, the President had reshuffled her existing cabinet, announcing new ministers of finance, the interior, and transport. And finally tonight, international news. At least 114 Palestinians have been killed in Israel airstrikes across the Gaza Strip since dawn, health officials and rescuers said. 56 people, including women and children, were killed when homes and tents sheltering displaced families were bombed overnight in the southern city of Khan Yunis, the local Nazir hospital reported. The Israeli military said it struck Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters in southern Gaza. The Hamas-run civil defense agency also reported deadly strikes in the northern town of Jabalia, including an attack on a health clinic and prayer hall in Jabalia refugee camp that it said killed 13 people. Israeli forces have been intensifying their bombardment of what they say are Hamas fighters and infrastructure ahead of a planned expansion of their ground offensive in Gaza. It comes as U.S. President Donald Trump visits the region and indirect negotiations on a new ceasefire and hostage release deal between Hamas and Israel continue. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.